And again, that's where the safety comes from. Is it going to be a sexy home run out of the park? No. It's just going to grow steadily every single year. But the fact that you have access to it, most people, there's like $20 trillion locked up in IRAs and 401ks. And if opportunity knocks, that money is locked up.
Well, and if the stock market crashes, a lot of people lose their money.
And people are high on the stock market right now. It just did double digits, and it was really great. But what the market gives, it can take back really quickly. What people have forgotten is that last Christmas season, the market dropped by over 10%. So, part of that rally was really just coming back from picking up, the 10% from when it dropped. So anyone who put new money in did really well, and other people, they still did well, but they were, still kind of getting back to break even. But you look at like a 2007 and 8 when the market dropped by over 50%. That took almost 6 years to get back to break even.
I had my ass handed to me that year.
So did I.
Badly.
2007.
And actually, it was shortly after that I started working with you.
The other strategy that's in the book for people that don't want or need the life insurance. I think everybody needs the life insurance.
I do too, believe me. I've had a husband pass away.
Okay.
Yes, everybody needs the life insurance, whether you think you do or don't.
And, Dory, when you called me about cancer, one of the first things you said was, why didn't you get me one of those plans?
I know. So this is the product that we talked about.
Yes, And, if you have adult children, sometimes you think, I don't need this anymore. Or other, there's circumstances. There's single people that don't feel like they need it or whatever. And it is what it is. But for those people that have a lump sum of money and don't need that, then the second strategy in Taming Wall Street, that one performs very similar to the stock market, but again, it's guaranteed to never lose money.
Which I love that.
So the clients I have in that one, they all just did double digits, just like the stock market. But if it drops tomorrow, because we just shot missiles at Iran last night, if we end up in World War III or something, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. And the market drops 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, those clients are all guaranteed by the insurance company to not lose any money.
I love that.
So they get all that upside potential and none of the downside risk.
I wish I had known you after my husband died, because I got life insurance money. I didn't know what to do. Got put in the stock market and
lost it.
A lot of it was just lost.
And
I was trying to live on that. So I had no financial education at all. So I tried to go to somebody who knew, but this sounds like something. So if there's any widows out there don't know what to do, get this book, please, and research this kind of stuff, because this is where you'd want to put your money.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have to have a certain amount to start with?
So with the one that mimics the stock market, that one, I think there's one company that will allow $10,000 as a minimum, but it's typically $25,000.
We'll talk after.
Okay.
It's
so
typically $25,000. Just because now there are annuities or indexing plans that will allow you to start with a much smaller amount. These ones that I have access to, there's only a few companies. They've hired top money managers, like emeritus professors from Yale in finance. Some of the top people that have left, financial firms on Wall Street, and now they just get paid a salary to make the insurance company a ton of money.
Which is nice.
And you get to participate in that. And that's why there's no cap on what you can earn. But the insurance company monitors this on a regular basis. And that's why they're willing to write it on their paper that they guarantee that you won't lose any money.
That's awesome. Now, $10,000 can sound like a lot to the average person. So how do you get to $10,000? I mean, what's a good plan to get yourself to the place where you can invest in something like this? Because I don't have that just, in my back pocket.
And, when we're dealing with most people in America, that's why I say the importance of becoming a good saver. So I tell people all the time, you're not going to get rich unless you become a good saver. And then they say, well, yeah, but you kind of contradict yourself, because you say you're never going to get rich unless you invest.
Right.
And the reason I say that is you have to become a good saver. You have to be disciplined to put that money away. But then once it gets to certain quantities, then you can go do investing with it.
Right.
Like you wouldn't take your last $10,000 and put it all into the stock market.
Right.
That would be unwise, right?
Right.
So you would say, okay, I'm going to set so much aside as an emergency fund, and then I'm going to just keep saving. Well, the beauty of the plan described in my book is you can do that. It gives you a safe location that earns much better than a bank, and you can start putting that money away every single month or every year, and you start to build it up. Once that gets to a certain point, that's when we'll look at how do you become your own source of financing on debt.
Okay.
Like a car or paying off a credit card, something like that. So the car that I drove here today, that is 100% financed by my life insurance plan.
Very cool.
And then I'm just the bank back on that.
Right.
Now, if I run into a rough month or have some major hiccup in my business or something, I can shut those payments off. Most people can't.
Yeah,
you miss one payment, the bank's coming to get their car back and all the equity that you have in it.
So what happens when you shut it off?
I just stop paying myself.
Okay.
Right? So it's my money.
Right.
It would be inappropriate for the company to tell me you have to pay yourself back. Right? Now, I want to pay myself back because I want to have that money in the future.
Right.
And so I do that, and because I'm a business owner, I can run it through my business and pick up a few extra tax write-offs.
Of course.
That way. So, so that's where a lot of people will start is if I can just control my car debt, right? And that sounds really simple, but think about this. The average American will spend significantly more money on cars than they will ever save for themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so a good example of that is the average baby boomer retiring right now has less than $50,000.
Yes.
I'm like,
Okay, so
including like net worth or just
they're going into retirement with less than $50,000.
Okay, I
wow,
gotcha.
that's just not. What do they think they're going to die in just 10 years?
Most of them are prepared to live poor on Social Security.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's sad. So, but you can't tell me that over the 70 years that man or woman has been alive that they haven't spent more than $50,000 on cars.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right?
That's
Unless they're
one
like
car.
in Manhattan and refuse to get a driver's license or something, right? Like these crazy people that you hear about in these major cities. But so let's say that they just took a $25,000 car or a $15,000 car, right? And you slowly pay that back to yourself inside of a plan where while that 10, 15, 20, 25,000 was out, continues to earn 5 or 6% every single year. Right?
Wow. Yeah.
So by the time you pay it off, you don't have the amount you put back in, you have much more.
Plus you're paying yourself an interest, right?
Plus you're paying yourself back,
Like
right?
how much of an interest are you paying yourself back?
If it's a business owner, then I tell them to pay higher than what the insurance company charges. If they're just a regular Joe, why pay extra?
Right.
It just goes back to you. But then the key is that none of these other authors that have books similar to mine teach their people is when you sell that car, you have this big pile of money in the real world. Stuff it over into your plan because you can borrow it right back out for the next car.
Yeah.
So you think about that. Let's say a $25,000 car at 4% interest. People are going to probably pay about $27,500 for that car. They're going to end up paying about 18% total interest back. So we get tricked. Oh, I get a 4% interest rate. It's a lie. That's why they use APR. It's a way to trick you, right?
Yes.
So you end up now, instead of having $27,500 go away from you to the bank, you have that money come back to you, right? So you have it again, but then that car is still worth maybe $10,000 to $13,000 in the real world, right?
Yeah.
What most people do, if they're not don't have negative equity from being poor money managers, is they roll it onto the next car.
Yeah.
Well, why would you take a big chunk of money and roll it onto something that you know goes down in value every time you drive it, every month, every year that goes by?
Right.
Instead, let's take that out of the real world. Let's put it into your own bank.
Yeah.
And then you can just immediately borrow it right back out for the next car.
Yeah, that's pretty ingenious.
So
great.
now let's say that you did that 10 times, 27,500 times 10, you're going to have $275,000, much more than the average person trying to retire right now.
Wow. Yeah. So what about somebody who is in that place that they're retiring, they have $50,000. Do you suggest that they just start this now so that they can build their capital up? I mean, if they have some money out of their IRA or whatever when they retire, how can they best utilize the money that they have?
Yeah, I would say at that point they need to put it into something that's going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
They need to have an honest come to Jesus conversation with themselves of, you know what, I'm actually not prepared to walk away and not have a job for 20 years.
Yeah, that's a sad thing because, you think that you're saving and you're, throughout your company or whatever, and you end up just with next to nothing.
Yeah, well, retirement is kind of a myth. It's funny, I sell retirement. I don't really believe in it, which, again, contradiction, right? But the idea of retirement was invented after the World Wars because they had all these men coming back that needed jobs, and so they needed the older population to walk away, and then Social Security would help. But back then, most people died at age 65.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
now we have, unfortunately, people living to 85 and 90.
Yeah.
And
well, not unfortunately.
We love that they are, but
he looked at me that way because I have insurance policies out on.
Oh yeah,
I have bought some insurance policies. We're like, we don't want to say, but every now and again I'm like, when are these people going to die?
Yeah. So
it feels very morbid, but the truth is, they did a great thing. They had these great insurance policies, and then they knew that their life is coming to an end. It's a doctor certified thing and everything. And so they sell their life insurance policies to do whatever they want with their money, whether it's give it to their family, take their family on trips, take care of their health in an alternative way, whatever. And so you can go and buy chunks of that, and it works out really well. I mean, you have to sit back and wait, but the joke is, and it's morbid as it is like, when are these guys going to die so I can get my money?
Oh my goodness.
Who knew these people would keep living? But so, think about this just from a mathematical perspective. You start really working at maybe age 25, and you want to retire at age 65. So you work putting money away, trying to raise a family, maybe buy assets and things for 40 years, and then you're just going to not work for 30 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
The idea of retirement was really created when people died earlier.
Yeah.
And so if people are going to end up living into their 90s, it's a good thing. But maybe retiring in your 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
I hear people all the time. I love when people say, I want to be rich like Warren Buffett and retire early. And I'm like, that dude's nearly 90 and goes to work every day? He's not sitting at home doing nothing.
It should just be a restart. If you retire from one part of your life to start another.
Well, you got to differentiate between work and a lifestyle. Warren Buffett has a lifestyle. He doesn't work. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a job. Let's say, put it that way.
He works.
He gets up and he goes and does what he loves and what he's good at and what he can give to others. Yeah. And that really ultimately is what we all want eventually. And yes, we do need people who work. We need our factory workers. We need the people that, I want to go and be, if I'm going to go to Beans and Brews, I need these people that work there. We need that. But even those people that we're talking about, the people that work a job, can on the side start building these, building their own finances and their equity in their own homes and in real estate or investments or whatever.
Definitely.
So that when it is time to retire, they can be enjoying things instead of living penny to penny.
Yeah,
these are things I'm trying to teach my kids.
Yeah, so it's not always just so that you don't have to work. You're always still going to have to do something. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, without effort.
Well, and the first part of this whole thing is don't get into debt. Or get yourself out of debt. Because all that money that you could be saving is going to pay off a credit card, interest or something like that, rather than, helping you to get ahead.
Well, and it depends on the type of debt you're talking about. But you're talking about credit cards.
Yeah,
and,
most is
silly,
unsecured.
stupid things.
Yeah, there's good debt and there's bad debt.
Right,
most people don't know the difference between them.
Most of our debts are bad debts, I think, in this country anyway.
Yeah, we're a consuming nation. So, those that are listening, if we need to start by helping them get out of debt or, cleaning up their budget, then we can start there. but then let's get you saving as quick as we can, even if it's just a couple $100 a month, and get that into a plan. And then what people don't realize is, just that power